What if you could replace this entire for loop with just one line? Look at this. The exact same result in one line. No empty list, no append, nothing extra. This is called list comprehension, and it is one of the most used features in Python. Let's learn exactly how to write it. Let's convert this for loop into a list comprehension. We have three things happening: an empty list being created, a loop running through range of 5, and number times 2 being appended each time. We will map each of these into the comprehension one step at a time. Step 1 is the expression. The expression is the value that actually goes into your list. Whatever you were appending is your expression. Here, that is number times 2. In a comprehension, this goes first, right after the opening bracket. Step 2 is the loop variable and the iterable. After the expression, you write for then your loop variable, then in then whatever you are looping over. Here, that is for number in range of 5. This is identical to your for loop header, just moved inside the brackets right after the expression. Think of it as a sentence, what you want for each item in this collection. That is the whole pattern. Every list comprehension you will ever write follows this exact order. Now, let's say you do not want every item in the list, only the ones that pass a condition. In this for loop, the if block checks whether number is even before adding it. Let's convert this into a comprehension step by step. Step 1 is exactly the same as before. The value going into the list is number right at first, then write for number in range of 10 right after. Step 2 is adding the condition. The if goes at the very end after the for clause. Now here is the important question to ask yourself. Does the if decide what value goes in, or does it decide whether anything goes in at all? Here the if is a gate. It has nothing to do with the value itself. It simply controls whether an item enters the list at all. Items that fail the condition are skipped completely and never appear in the list. Because it controls entry, not value, it belongs at the end after the loop. Think of it as the same sentence with a filter at the end, what you want for each item in this collection, but only if the condition is true. Now, what if you want every item to stay in the list, but produce a different value depending on a condition? Look at this for loop. Every item goes in, but the value that gets added is either number or 0, depending on whether number is even. Step 1. The expression here is not a single value. It is a choice between two values. The whole if-else part, number if the condition is true, else 0, is the expression. This whole thing goes first inside the brackets. Step 2. After the expression, add the for loop exactly as before. No if at the end, the condition is already handled inside the expression. Ask yourself the same question. Does the if decide what value goes in, or whether anything goes in at all? Here the if decides the value. Every single item still enters the list. Nothing is skipped. Since the if is part of the value, and the value is always the expression, and the expression always goes first, the if-else goes first. Think of it as a sentence with a built-in choice, this value or that value, for each item in this collection. The choice comes first, the loop comes after. Now, let's look at nested list comprehension, when you have a loop inside a loop. Here we have a matrix which is a list of 3 pairs. The nested for loops go through each row first, then each number inside that row, and add every number into a flat list. The conversion follows the same approach, 3 steps. Step 1. Expression first. The value going into the list is just n, so n goes first inside the brackets. Step 2. Outer loop next. The outermost for loop is for row in matrix. That becomes the first for clause in the comprehension, right after the expression. Step 3. Inner loop after. The inner loop is for n in row. That comes right after the first for clause. The rule is simple: expression first, then outer for, then inner for. The same top to bottom order as the original nested loops, just written in one line. List comprehension is powerful, but knowing when not to use it is just as important as knowing how. The first mistake is making it too complex. When you stack multiple conditions and expressions on one line, it becomes nearly impossible to read. A simple rule: if you cannot read it aloud in one breath, it is too complex. Break it into a regular for loop. Shorter code that nobody can understand is worse than longer code that is clear. The second mistake is using list comprehension just to run code rather than build a list. A common example is writing a comprehension that calls the print function on each item. This works, but it is wrong. Python still builds an entire list of none values in memory because print returns nothing. You created a list nobody wanted. Anytime you are printing, writing to a file, or updating a variable, a regular for loop is the correct choice. The golden rule is simple. Use list comprehension when it makes your code both shorter and clearer. If it only makes it shorter, stick with the for loop. Readability always wins. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you found this lesson helpful and easy to understand. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more beginner-friendly programming tutorials and helpful tips. Feel free to comment your questions or thoughts below. I love hearing from you, and I try to respond to every comment. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so you get notified whenever I upload new videos. See you in the next lesson.